錬金術という学問があった。鉄を黄金に変える力、永遠の命を吹き込む力、無から有を作り出すための力。人が神を超えようとする術であるというものだった。それは見かけだけの判断に過ぎない。悪なき探求心と斬新な発想がそれらを具現化させているだけなのだ。我々は好奇心を持っていたからこそこうして進歩してきたのだが。
Hey, what's up, comrades? Hope everyone's doing great. We're here to begin my long 2-year journey of playing the Atelier games. These are games that start off with like a cute little Alchemist management sim where you go on like cute little adventures and gather things and build things. And the first couple of games, the Salburg trilogy, they have like a 5-year time limit to accomplish all your tasks and whatnot. Yeah, I feel like playing through these games, it's like seems a little daunting, but you have so much. It's so much time, y'all. Like I was like completing like the best, like the canon endings in like year 3 for a lot of these. If you're just like efficient with your use of fairies and stuff. So, and then the story is pretty straightforward. There's like little side stories and stuff like that, but the gist of it is, so this is actually Atelier Lilie is actually the 3rd game in they call it a trilogy, but there's like a 4th game. I don't know. We'll talk about it when I get there. But the original game was Marie, and then Ellie, and then Lilie. But Lilie is like a prologue to their games. So I played Marie first, but then I was like, oh, it's a prologue. And then I played Lilie, and I was like, I'm just going to put this video up first, to be honest, because I didn't feel like, I mean, the part of the problem with Lilie is I had to play it with an OCR, which is like on Linux, it's called translator? No, interpreter. It's called interpreter. And what it does, it like reads the Japanese off your screen and like gives you the English equivalents, but it doesn't do anything. It's not like thinking about it. It's just like, here are words. And people have done some like pretty good work so that it kind of like adjusts the language. So it's not just like word for word, like the Japanese word, right? So you can kind of get the gist of what people are talking about and whatnot, but still it's pretty rough. But the deal is there's an academy that is kind of like the center point of of the Salburg games. And Atelier Lilie is about how that academy comes to be. And so it involves characters that we met in the first 2 games, which are Marie and Ellie. And now we get to see like their roots. So it starts off with Lilie and this guy Doriner, who we also meet. And then they're like apprentices, Ingrid and it was like Hemdel or something in the OCR. I don't think that's supposed to be her name. But anyway, these 2 apprentices. And so you guys travel to Salburg because the king has invited you to come over here to try to establish like a center of learning, an academy, and kind of make Salburg that kind of like the headquarters of like alchemy, like research and development and stuff like that. But Dorner's like gone back and forth with him. And essentially the idea is like, we have 5 years to prove that alchemy is like a viable thing for him to invest himself into. And so within 5 years to get like the true ending, we need to collect 150,000 silver plates or gold pieces or however the money, right? And so you do this by completing various tasks. So there's an inn where you can go and they tell you rumors, and the rumors pretty much just open up stuff. And then you can get requests, and requests are just like where you create things or you find things out in the wilderness and then you turn them in and you get popularity points, and then you get money as well. So that's one way to do things. You can also build things, and there's like I don't know what to call it. It was like a curio shop in town, and they'll buy a lot of like your random bullshit. So you can just like make money that way. And you need a lot of money. So you need the 150,000, but also if you want your academy to like look nice, you got to invest in money as well. So I don't want to say like it's 200,000 silver pieces. And then while you're doing that, you do these requests, you meet people in town that can join your party so you can go out adventuring, because you got to go out adventuring the most important thing is to go at least once so you can unlock everything. And then at some point you unlock ferries. And once you unlock the ferries, you can just send the ferries out to get stuff. But it's still, you want to head out to some of these places at times, because that opens up like side quests, and like it helps you kind of get through some of the kind of big popularity points. And then there's a thing every January 3rd, I think, or like the third week or something like that, because I think it was more than one day, because I thought I was like, oh, I missed it. And then I still was able to compete in some sort of like exposition. And if you take like a good enough item to the exposition or the expo, then the king will give you like a whole bunch of money as well. And sometimes Doran will have like quests for you. Like there's one where he needs to make a bunch of medicine because the king's family's sick. And if you do that, you get a bunch of money and a bunch of popularity. All the people you can recruit, which one of them's like this Arab lady who travels. There's like the tomboy blacksmith girl. There's like the handsome captain of the guards. That's all I noticed. And you can take Ingrid and Hamel with you as well out, but they're weak as shit. So I tried leveling them up, and it just like didn't work so well. Because in Marie, there was like even like a tower. It's like you could level up pretty easily if you just like were smart about it. But I don't know if I just didn't understand like the variation on like the combat situation here or what, because it was pretty rough. And you can make like alchemical items to use in combat, which makes it a lot easier when you do, but that you're investing a lot of time and energy into that as well. So at some point I was like, I'm just going to play with cheats. You'll see that. You'll see my money like never goes down. If you watch the video at some point, because I was just like, I'm like struggling so hard to figure out like stuff. So I'm like, I just need more money to like give myself a little boost, which kind of like broke the game, because again, I have unlimited money. So once a month or once every couple of weeks, you can just like give money to Doriner to build the academy. And so it's like impossible to fail if you cheat. And the cheat is like kind of like, it's not a built-in cheat, but I play this on PCSX2. And you can kind of just like slot in a whole bunch of cheats in there. And then the cheats I was able to find, I had to make my own PNAC file, which if you follow my videos before, I've had to deal with this in this before. It's simpler now with Gemini actually like working correctly for however long that's going to last. So I just pretty much gave it the Game Genie codes and said, make this a PNAC file that works. And it did. And then it worked. And I was like, cool. That was a lot simpler than me trying to like hash all this bullshit out. But you can get the raw files. I can't remember. There's a website where you can find like raw files for all these Game Genie codes for like the PlayStation 2 and 1 and stuff. So that's pretty fucking awesome. But even with the cheating and like not understanding the language and kind of the stuff, it was fun. Like I didn't enjoy it as much as Marie, because half the time I was like, I don't know exactly what I'm doing. And then the menu system was like very hard to kind of decipher. And as I was playing the game, I probably played I got through the whole thing, even with cheating, in like 6 hours or so. But I was like, it was like hour 4 and I was still learning things that I could do. Like at some point it was like people were asking me to do things and I was like, sure. And then I was like, what the fuck did they ask me to do? Because I can't read the Japanese. And then the OCR sometimes would like have different words for like the request. And then when I went into like my mixing menu to make the alchemical stuff to actually do it, it was like not the same word. And so I was like, oh my God, damn, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. But eventually, after like 4 hours of like failing quests or like randomly stumbling into like the correct answer, there's a thing in the menu that'll be like, here are all your requests, and then would you like to make these items? And it was like, oh, that makes this so much more simple. And then I was able to like kind of cruise through there as well. There's a grocer in town. There's like an armor smith, and then you can just go see the academy that's being built. It's really cute and fun. And then there's like a priest I went and talked to, and he was kind of, at least in the translation, the like interpreter was doing, he was a real asshole, so I never went back. But you can recruit him too. I just was like over it and whatnot. But there's definitely the core things to kind of know about here is like, this is the beginning of the academy. So when we get to Marie in a couple weeks, the lady who's like in charge of the academy at the time is Ingrid, and this is like Ingrid before she was like anything, right? And then Dorner too is in that game too, so that's fun. So it's good. It's kind of fun to see like their origin and like, oh, this I built up. And then Lilie's just like this sweetheart who like takes care of like the children. Essentially, when Dorner goes off and does like crazy thing, makes like insane promises. Like at one point he rolls up, this motherfucker, man, and he was like, hey, I need the medicine for the king, right? And I'm like, cool, that sounds good. And he's like, I'm gonna make it, okay. And then Lilie's like, cool, sounds great. And then he's like, but I need this. And she's like, what? How much time do I have? And he's like, 20 days. And I was like, there's no fucking way I can make that much in 20 days. Luckily for me, it was, so he said something about needing like 15 Phoenix potions or whatever, not to be confused with the Final Fantasy Phoenix potions. But I ended up not needing that. I ended up only being 10, and I was able to get 10 within like the 15-day time limit. Because I was like making them, I was like, well, I got 10. I guess I'm gonna have to like, because there's a lot of like, I needed ingredients to make, like I just didn't have like the stuff I even needed to make like the Phoenix potions, and then everything takes time, right? Everything takes like a day here, a day there, right? And it so kind of adds like a sense of urgency. Again, it's like you really don't need it. It's pretty cozy. I'm not gonna like that. 5 years like really drags. But then I just like made 10 and was like, okay, I got to make 5 more of these in like 3 days. I'm fucked. And then I exited out of like the mixing menu, and then immediately it was like he rolls up and he's like, oh, you got all 10 of them, good, thanks. And then he runs off, and I completed the quest, and I was like, okay, so it's only 10. That's good to go. There's a lot of cute stuff, and the reason I'm not really just saying a plot, and this video is going to be pretty short, is because there's not. This is like a management sim, right? The story is like you already know the story. They want to make an academy. They got to impress the king. They can make the academy. They impress the king. Go to Atelier Marie, right? So it's just talking about the systems, or like kind of my experience here with this game, and I liked it despite it. Like I don't think I'd ever go back and play it again unless there was like an English translation. I could put like some effort into it. But I really enjoyed Marie, which we'll get to in a couple of weeks. And it was fun, like kind of figuring out the systems, figuring out how to use the fairies. You can have up to 7 fairies in Marie. I think it's the same in this one. And they're different colored fairies, and like fairies cost money every month to like maintain. And so you got to balance that out. So like in Marie is a lot more kind of like a headache at first to try to like get enough money to like pay for like the adventures that go out with you, and to pay for the fairies and everything. But once you kind of get like a nice system going, you can have like some of the fairies going out to collect items, other fairies making items, and you can just sell those items. And when you sell those items, you can make plenty of money to like maintain your system, if you will, like your ecosystem. And so it really is like chill. And this was, I mean, I cheated, so I was like, whatever. But I was like, even without the cheating, it was like pretty simple. The hardest thing is like you run out of mana pretty quick, and you need mana to do things. And I feel like the fail rate, so I feel like I still missed something, because I feel like the fail rate in this game was like really, really high. Because when you make mixtures, there's like percentages. And there was something I was trying to make. And since I'm in the PS2 emulator, I just like quick saved. But there was something, it had like an 80% success rate, and it took me like 7 tries to get like it to not fail. And I was like, what the fuck? And there were other things that were like a 30%, and I'd get them on my first try, which is like statistically, could happen. But I was like, oh, okay, cool. And yeah, and then the only other kind of complaint I had, which I can't really account for, is, and maybe it is, maybe they would have it written down or give you like some more hints, but there'd be like, I want to make an item, and it would be like, you have this, you've made this item, and then there's like a mysterious item, and I could never figure out what those mysterious items were. So I didn't know if I needed to go out and search for them, or I need to like make more stuff. And there's a lot of things it was like, I don't know how to get these ingredients. So right before I kind of like finished the game, by finishing the academy, I ran into a whole bunch. Oh, excuse me. Oh, sorry. I ran out and did a whole bunch of like grinding for mats just to kind of see if I was like missing anything. So I don't know, maybe it was some of the little side quests. There's like a metal door in a mine that I couldn't get through. I needed to like craft something. I don't even know what it was to get through there. Another fun quest was there's like a well. People were complaining about the well not having access and whatnot. And so you got to go to like this plains south of town, and then you find these like squirrel monsters that like dug a big hole and like were stealing the well water to like turn the desert into like it's like Dune, turn it into like a paradise. And so you got to go back and tell the king and the guards, and they come and like stomp the shit out of them to get the water back. That was pretty funny. And And then the shopkeeper comes by every once in a while, and like he wants like a magic broom, so to help clean up his place. And then he wants what else did he want? Oh, and then when you're working on the construction site, at some point they want gravel, so you got to go get a bunch of gravel from like the mountain. Which the mountain is like the toughest place. I was getting killed before I even got there, and so I just had to keep running, and eventually I lucked out and got there, and then I just sent all my fairies there to get because they just like teleport over and teleport back, I guess. But yeah, that's Atelier Lilie, the Alchemist of Salburg, number 3, which is the first game chronologically in this section of the Atelier games. So yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed myself, and I'm looking forward to getting to Ellie, because like I said, I already played Marie, but we'll talk about Marie next week. I really enjoyed Marie. And it's just like Gust, man, fucking crushing it here. I'm super excited. The different, not versions, there's like different eras. So some of the future eras, I guess, like the gameplay changes dramatically, but the next 2 games are going to be more this kind of management sim. So you're going to have like a break of me making like 3-hour videos on like a game for a bit. For like a couple months, but then we'll get back into it, I assume. But hope you're all doing well, and have a great day, and go ahead, like, share, subscribe, comment, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.